A woman's come forward saying she was sexually assaulted by a Labor staffer at the centre of a party investigation, and the Prime Minister's not happy.
I was informed in the very beginning that the allegations made were not sexual in nature. That is obviously directly counter to what is now being reported. I'm incredibly frustrated and deeply disappointed by the way that this has been handled.
Earlier this year, Labor started investigating after 7 people made complaints about the man. But 3 months later, he was cleared. In August, the Prime Minister ordered a review by a Queen's Counsel after complaints about the process. Today, we've learnt the QC will take a wider look at the whole investigation. The Prime Minister maintained she was never told by the party or its president that complaints included those of a sexual nature.
Did you receive complaints of a sexual nature?
I am making no comments about this current process. I'm bound by confidentiality.
Were you made aware of any complaints of a sexual nature?
Not from the complainants, no.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that's the answer, not from the complainants, no.
These complaints are separate to the Labor Youth Summer Camp saga that's already been to court. The Prime Minister laying the groundwork today for the Labor Party president to lose his job, to be the scapegoat if something has gone wrong. But it seems there are still a lot of unanswered questions in this highly charged issue.
So just repeating the breaking news, our Labor Party president Nigel Harworth has resigned over the handling of sexual assault allegations levelled at a party staffer.
Interesting, the Prime Minister's got quite a bit of flack around this. I don't know, do we think that she has done anything apart from 100% her best in the circumstances? Well, knowing what we know about her personality, she surely has done everything right based on what she knows.
Of course, we all want to think, like, our Prime Minister is a woman, she's a good person, she's someone you can go to with this, and obviously she hasn't known that this has been going on. But at the end of the day, she is the leader of the party where this happens, so there's something is fundamentally wrong with the way that she is running things. Maybe she's not scary enough, maybe she doesn't have enough 2IC people that are bringing her the stuff that she needs to know. But I don't think that you can absolve the Prime Minister of any wrongdoing in this case.
The Prime Minister is refusing to say exactly who within the Labor Party assured her there was no sexual assault complaint. Nigel Harworth resigned as Labor Party president yesterday amid mounting pressure over the party's handling of complaints against a Labor staffer. But the former president maintains no sexual assault allegations were put before the investigation panel.
If it does turn out that Grant Robertson and others senior in the party knew that the allegations were of a sexual nature, what consequences will there be?
Again, I'm going to let this process allow the QC to do this job.
Punishment for the president is that he has already resigned. Is there a similar punishment for those who later found out that they knew as well?
Again, I don't want to get ahead of that process and I don't want to make any predeterminations.
Does she still stand by her statement that victims should go to one of their line managers and that no senior people in her office had received a complaint?
Aye.
Is she stating then that the victims are not telling the truth?
Carl.
Then how does the answer to both those questions add up when the victims have absolutely stated that they made a complaint to one of her senior managers?
The Labor Party staff member at the centre of sexual assault complaints resigned just over an hour ago. And that comes 24 hours after the party president quit over the botched complaints process.
The Prime Minister maintained she didn't know about claims of sexual assault until Monday, despite media speculation for 5 weeks. The Finance Minister has also repeatedly refused to say when he knew about any claims of sexual assault.
I am not getting into any specifics about that.
The resignation does make life easier for the Prime Minister, and it may have been the outcome that some of the complainants wanted out of all of this as well. But it doesn't mean the issue goes away. There are still a lot of questions about how this was handled.
The Prime Minister and several high-ranking MPs still facing accusations they knew more than they're letting on.
Closing ranks early on.
There were not allegations investigated that were of a sexual nature.
I was not aware of allegations of sexual assault.
The party's president, the first to fall, the man at the centre of the scandal quick to follow suit.
I adamantly refute the serious allegations made against me. I am cooperating fully with the due inquiry that is now underway.
But it doesn't end there. The Prime Minister facing accusations she knew more, and her party's been protecting her.
I think it is a cover-up.
Party leaders, prime ministers, have this policy of deliberate ignorance, where they tell their advisers, I do not want to be informed about this because then I'm responsible.
Jacinda Ardern maintains she knew nothing about claims of sexual assault until Monday, despite media speculation for more than a month.
So you don't believe her?
What she's saying is literally unbelievable. Everybody who's a political tragic has spent the last month talking about nothing else.
The Labor Party has been forced to review its own investigation into bullying, sexual harassment and sexual assault. At least 4 people have resigned from official party roles and cancelled their memberships as a result. Several MPs, including the Prime Minister, are aware of the allegations.
This person is one of 7 who laid complaints this year accusing a senior Labor staffer of unacceptable behaviour ranging from bullying and intimidation to sexual harassment and sexual assault.
Newshub has spoken to 2 more complainants about Labor's handling of sexual harassment and bullying allegations.
I don't want to be a part of an organisation that allows abuse to happen to people.
Under your leadership, people are leaving the party because they do not feel safe.
Complaints about bullying, sexual harassment and assault.
We don't always get it right.
Complainants who allege they were bullied and sexually harassed by a Labour Party staffer have been told to avoid going to certain areas of Parliament. One staff member has called for help from National MP Paula Bennett.
She had made formal complaints, as had a number of other people over many months.
Bennett's taken the concerns to the Speaker, who had no comment for Newshub.
What she is telling us is she does not consume any media in this country, nor does anyone in her circle. She was asked about this by you, I think, on the 6th of August.
How many people have quit your party as a result of this investigation into the bloke who may or may not have sexually assaulted some of them?
I'm going to be pretty careful answering that question, Mike, because this is inquiry and work is still underway, and it is a party matter. But if you want numbers on those who come and go from the Labor Party, that's obviously not a number I can give you at present. I can tell you that our numbers are healthy and probably grow by the day with every interview I do.
No, I'm not talking about your general party membership. What I'm talking about are people who have specifically quit the party as a result of the actions alleged of this person.
Oh, look, I've seen the claims around, but I can't give you verified numbers there.
It seems incredible that she didn't know about them. I think at this stage we can't rule out Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister, actually going from the scandal.
Prime Minister says she is not in direct contact with any of the complainants in the Labor sexual assault and bullying investigation. But Newshub was copied into an email last night, sent directly to Jacinda Ardern.
The Prime Minister was asked if she'd had any feedback or any response from the complainants.
Obviously, I'm not in direct contact.
But last night, direct contact to the Prime Minister's inbox copied in with the Deputy Labour leader, Paula Bennett, another journalist and Newshub. The email began, Dear Jacinda, I am one of the women who was assaulted.
One of the people originally charged with investigating the Labour Party abuse allegations is speaking out for the first time. Lawyer and Labour Party council member Simon Mitchell is defending himself, saying he never heard any claims of sexual assault when he met with the complainant.
In a statement to One News, he says, at no point did she say that she had been sexually assaulted or tell us about the events that are described in the spin-off article. He says that includes during a meeting in March and all emails and attachments sent to him. He adds, in June, after being advised of the outcome, the complainant emailed me and other members of the panel thanking us for our hard work. Paula Bennett says some of the complainants have been confiding in her.
Certainly, I have always found them to be credible and I believe them.
The Prime Minister announcing more reviews of the saga this afternoon.
You said you erred on the side of the victims in this case. Is that still the case?
My general value set and philosophy, of course, is to take a victim-centred approach.
The Labor Party, remember, Andrew Little, the Justice Minister, wants to change the law to change the balance of consent. So if someone makes an allegation of sexual assault, it's on the defendant to prove it's not true. What more do we need to know?
Cue Winston Peters.
In our system, which fortunately we live under, you're innocent until proven guilty. All that went flying out the window in what was a disgraceful orgy of speculation and innuendo, none of which, I can tell you from even where I sit and what I know, will be proven by the evidence when it finally comes.
Winston Peters striding straight into the Labour Party's business.
Some people have been very unfairly treated on the way through.
Outright undermining the allegations of bullying and sexual assault.
Led by a woman called Paula Bennett, making all sorts of vile allegations.
If you are a victim of wrongdoing of a criminal nature, do not go to the opposition, go to the police.
I think he's got a point, hasn't he? I mean, I haven't seen any evidence be produced.
He knows stuff we don't know, he says. Classic Winston. He basically questions the authenticity of the complainant's claims. Why isn't everyone on message here? Has the PM lost control of her party and her government?
This should be about a 19-year-old girl, and presumably we shouldn't even be talking about this. This should be a police investigation. If these allegations are proven, this should be a police investigation.
Yes, and you're absolutely right.
But part of this is about your credibility, because it's politics, and you're fronting this. Can you say that you've been as open and honest and transparent with every question asked about this in the last couple of weeks?
Yes, I can.
There's one thing I just can't figure out. You said that you learned that the allegations were of a sexual nature from the Spin-Off website when it published the woman's account last Monday. But there's a whole month before that where there have been lots of talk of that. Like the rape word was used at least a month before. So how did you not know that?
And let me be very clear on that.
Because that's the big question about your credibility.
And
how did you not know?
Let me absolutely clarify that for you right now. What I've said is the fact that a complainant has claimed that they came to the Labour Party and made an allegation that they had been sexually assaulted. I learnt that via the Spin-Off article.
Sexually harassed.
Sexual harassment, sexual assault.
Sexual harassment and sexual assault.
Sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment and assault by a Labour staffer.
Whether or not the Labour Party has done its job properly, clearly it hasn't. And rather than focus on that, let's do actually finally what they've asked us to do, which is give them a proper third-party process, and that's what we're doing.
So you've got an investigation investigating the investigations, and that's reporting directly to you.
I've got to draw a line here and say we've now given a process. Let's the complainants be heard, rather than us continue to have this discussion around who knew what and when, and the contesting of facts.
Have a glass of water.
Well, the Prime Minister flies out in a few hours' time, first to Japan for the Rugby World Cup and then on to New York. She'll be very pleased to be back on the world stage, trying to leave this mess of domestic politics behind.
Look, this is an incredibly exciting time for New Zealand and its relationship with China. With Japan.
The Prime Minister briefly forgetting which country she was in, putting it down to jet lag.
The Prime Minister, when she was speaking at the UN, talked about the Me Too movement should be a We Too movement.
What you've seen is a bad interpretation of what you think you're seeing.